mate to the Empire's only female dragon, the Emperor didn't want anyone to piss Bellis Deo off. Anyone, Kaylin thought glumly, but the Emperor himself. Dragons had never been famously good at sharing. When she reached the tall and forbidding doors of the Imperial Library, she had second thoughts. It wasn't that the Imperial Library was home in all but name to the Archon, the oldest member of the Dragon Court. It wasn't that the doors were closed, that they were almost always closed. It wasn't even his extreme dislike of being interrupted. It was the door ward that straddled them. She'd woken to the sounds of Angry Dragon, which pretty much defined Bad Day. Having to place her palm against this particular ward took Bad Day and made it worse. At the best of times, Kaylin's allergy to magic made door wards uncomfortable, but this ward could raise so much noise it might just interrupt the dragons, one of whom was the Emperor. There was no other way to open them. Kaylin briefly considered knocking, with her head. Before she could, and it was late enough or early enough that she might have, the doors surprised her by gliding open. No one stood between them. At this hour, the library desk, the publicly accessible library desk, was unmanned. The display cases and the rows upon rows of standing files were shadowed. The robed clerks who kept the library spotless were conspicuous by their absence. But that was no surprise. No one sane visited the library at this hour. As the doors rolled closed at her back, the sound of dragon anger diminished. The Archon made his way toward her from the back of the large room, which surprised Kaylin. She'd expected to find him holed up in one of the many, many rooms that comprised his personal collection, none of which the public was invited to peruse. "Thank you for opening the doors," she told him.
"I felt it best to avoid interrupting the ongoing discussion. No one involved in it is likely to be amused by the sudden need to attend to intruders."
"I live here, at the moment."
"Indeed. I imagine the only person present who might find a disaster of your making remotely convenient is Lord Dearmet."
"Who doesn't deserve it?"
"You give him too little credit."
"Do I?" The Archon's smile was lined. It was also sharp.
"Perhaps I will beg the Emperor's indulgence."
In theory, this sounded good. Given the way the day had started, it couldn't be. "How?"
"I might ask permission to teach you the rudiments of our language."
His smile deepened as her eyes rounded and her brows rose. "I'll go deaf."
"Yes. Follow me, please. You interrupted me," he added.
"I don't know how you can work with that ruckus going on in the background."
"It is difficult. I do not have the concentration I once possessed in my youth."
"So, what are they arguing about exactly?"
"Bellis Deo's status at court at the moment. The argument has touched on many subjects."
The Archon's eyes were a steady shade of orange, which wasn't a good sign in a dragon. "What about her status? She's a dragon, so she's technically a lord of the court."
"That is true only in mortal terms. She is not, as Dearmet has been at pains to point out, a lord of this court. She has not offered the Emperor an oath of fealty, nor has she agreed, in a binding fashion, to abide by the laws he hands down."
"She spends most of her free time with me," Kaylin replied. "I'm a groundhog. She probably knows the law better than anyone who isn't."
"You misunderstand. Humans are not, of course, required to take such a binding oath. I believe they would not survive it. Bellis Deo has not been required to do so. Lord Dearmet correctly points out that she therefore poses a risk to the court."
He stopped at a smooth, flat wall. It was unadorned. Kaylin suspected it was actually